In today's video, we bring you the fifth part of the We Are Yesterday arc, now in Justice League Unlimited number 7. The chapter begins in the present, showing the battle between heroes and villains inside the Watchtower of the Justice League Unlimited. Gorilla Grodd watches with pleasure as the Legion of Doom, brought from the past, arrives. For the first time, he admits he's enjoying himself as he watches the heroes caught off guard and thinks it's only natural they're being defeated. After all, they're just humans. Adam questions how this is even possible. They've lost contact with Wonder Woman's team, and now, out of nowhere, the Legion just invades the tower. Mr. Terrific suspects this is the work of Airwave and asks Scarecrow where the traitor is. But the villain points his time weapon and, without hesitation, shoots both of them, causing them to start fading away. Supergirl and Martian Manhunter can't make sense of what they're seeing. Many of those villains had already been taken out of action a long time ago, and some Supergirl doesn't even recognize. That's when Manhunter explains that they're wearing old costumes. But before they can react, they're also hit by the time blast. Elsewhere, Black Manta and Sinestro defeat the elongated man and mock the fact that Ralph is still standing. The hero fires back, saying these villains are the Inferno group and that their disguises were just hiding how ugly they really are. But Grodd steps in, explaining that the goal was confusion. According to him, the heroes placed themselves above others like gods watching from above. But now, the world will see who truly deserves to be worshipped. As he speaks, Ralph stretches his arm toward the League's arsenal. Grodd goes on, saying the plan was to divide and exhaust the heroes, which turned out to be a huge success. When Ralph asks about the weapons that are making his friends disappear, Grodd reveals that they're not killing the heroes. Instead, they've been left alive to suffer, knowing they can't save the planet from the chaos that's about to unfold. In other words, the heroes have been scattered randomly through time and are now lost. For example, Firestorm is facing dinosaurs in prehistoric times, Nightwing and Beast Boy are trapped in a snowstorm, and Flash and Green Arrow have ended up in the Wild West. That's when the elongated man seizes the distraction and points a weapon at Grodd, claiming the villain underestimated him. But Luthor quickly destroys the weapon, stating he's been watching the whole time. With no other options, Ralph asks if he's next to be thrown through time. But the Joker reminds Grodd of the promise to let him have one hero to play with. And indeed, Grodd confirms the villains can do whatever they want with the elongated man. As Elongated Man screams in pain while being tortured by the villains, Luthor expresses concern about the absence of Superman and Batman. So Grodd orders Sinestro, Joker, Scarecrow, and Black Manta to find the world's finest once they're done with Ralph. Meanwhile, we see that Superman, Batman, and Robin have ended up in Arabia in the year 14,000 BC. They try to cross the time barrier but fail, as the Legion has sealed the exits. Far away, in the Indian Ocean in the year 19,642, Captain is fighting alongside Stargirl against reptilian creatures, and likewise can't access the Rock of Eternity. In Tombstone, in the year 1872, Flash admits he can't run fast enough to return with Green Arrow. And on Jupiter, in the year 2212, Adam, Supergirl, and Mr. Terrific are trapped and threatened by a colonist known as Ultra the Multi-Alien, who accuses them of being Martian saboteurs. They try to explain themselves, but are attacked by the incredibly powerful being. At the end of time, Nightwing holds Beast Boy in his arms. His friend can barely breathe as he whispers that no one is coming to save them. Meanwhile, in Western Europe, 40,000 BC, cavemen attack Green Lantern and Thunderlord. Hal comments that his ring is about to give out and regrets never saying goodbye to Carol. But a strange sound interrupts his thoughts. Someone is trying to make contact. Then we return to the Watchtower of the Justice League Unlimited. Captain Cold asks Grodd about Pythoness. Grodd explains that the name means sorceress, and she doesn't have a present-day counterpart because she died young. In any case, She is the Legion's secret weapon against the Justice League. As they walk, suddenly a rift opens, and a purple arm falls out. Bizarro recognizes it as his own, and Grodd understands what it means. They are close. They proceed to a chamber with an anomaly, the Omega Rift. Grodd explains that the brutal death of Darkseid at the beginning of this new DC phase caused a wound in the fabric of time that has since been replicated in various places across the universe. These rifts behave like temporal storms, and Airwave, using his powers, turned this rift into a time passage. Bizarro, curious like a child, puts his injured arm into the rift, and Grodd allows it, resulting in that scene we saw earlier of Bizarro's arm falling through, reinforcing Grodd's point. The rift is unstable, and there is power in it. All of Darkseid's power. At that moment, Sinestro, Joker, and Black Manta joined them. The mission was accomplished. All the heroes were defeated, but Scarecrow was lost because, as we saw in the previous chapter, he was captured by Superman and handed over to the authorities. That's when Grodd reveals a black stone, the only known fragment in this universe from Darkseid's homeworld, necessary to safely drain the energy from the rift. With it, they will become gods, and Luthor asks whether the power Grodd mentioned will be shared among the 8 members of the Legion. Meanwhile, in the 6th century, Cyborg, Black Lightning, Wonder Woman, and Plastic Man hear a mysterious voice asking if they can hear it. At the same time, all the heroes scattered across different timelines hear something similar as an energy begins to manifest around them. And we see that it's Airwave appearing before the heroes lost in time, apologizing for his actions. He says he was deceived by Grodd, who lied about everything, even about a cure for his condition. He thought the League wanted to dominate the world. During this communication, Green Arrow hears Hal's voice, and Batman realizes that Airwave is redirecting voice signals, meaning they can all now communicate through Airwave. Cyborg then asks the boy what happened after Grodd left the tower, and Airwave explains that it was then he discovered Grodd was helping the villains, and they just shot him. Since that moment, he's been able to see all the heroes at once. Adam realizes that Airwave has been turned into a weapon. He is the temporal energy the villains use to scatter the heroes through time. Back at the Watchtower, Grodd is struck by a blast and drops the black stone. The one who fired at Grodd was Lex Luthor himself, who picks up the stone and declares that he only trusts himself to be a god. But suddenly the stone explodes in his hands, injuring his face. Grodd then stands before him, claiming that the real Luthor, the one from the present, would have recognized the trap. It's obvious Grodd used everyone to reach this moment, and now he no longer needs them. With the rift glowing more intensely, Grodd states that the only thing required to harness that power is a worthy user. Bizarro protests, saying Grodd is cheating. Sinestro reminds him they had a deal, but Grodd completely ignores them as he begins draining energy from the rift. At the same time, in England, Cyborg deduces that Airwave's tachyonic energy is what's connecting them. Airwave realizes he could use his power to bring the heroes back, but unfortunately, he can't. It seems he lacks the strength. Alone, he won't succeed. But then several heroes, including Superman, Flash, Stargirl, Black Lightning, and Cyborg, begin channeling energy into Airwave to amplify his power. Airwave starts to feel his power growing, and at the same time, senses he's still connected to Grodd. As a result, Airwave's tachyonic energy begins to mix with the Omega energy Grodd is absorbing. The result is that the two energies start to poison each other, causing time itself to break and collapse. Airwave sees multiple eras folding in on themselves, civilizations overlapping. He screams that he can't take it anymore and begs for forgiveness before everything explodes. Following the explosion at the Watchtower, the system automatically triggers a containment protocol. The villains who were near Grodd survive and celebrate, assuming he must have been destroyed. However, to everyone's surprise, Grodd emerges with the Omega symbol glowing on his forehead and red beams radiating from his eyes. But not everything went exactly as the villain planned, because at that moment, the Legion of Doom hears a voice warning them to surrender, or else face the Justice League Unlimited. Yes, Airwave reappears with reinforcements from across all eras. Reinforcements like Ultra the Multi-Alien, Green Lantern Abin Sur, Jonah Hex, Terry McGinnis as Batman Beyond, Aquaman from the past, a Batman from the past, and Robin Jason Todd, all ready for the final battle.